On everyone, this is Lucas Ross Sports, Lucas Ross your commentator, and it's time for week 2 of Upset Alert. Last week, if you watched my week 1 Upset Alert, you can go back and watch that video if you'd like to. This is the second week for the 2022 college football season, and like I said, I'm going to give you 4 games that I think are most likely not to be an upset and most likely to be an upset. So, looking back to last week for Upset Alert, we had some games that were closer than I expected to not be considered an upset. I mean, looking at the NC State versus East Carolina game, that game ended up being closer than I expected. And then Oregon versus Georgia, that game did not even up being that close. Ohio State versus Notre Dame wasn't even close either. West Virginia versus Pittsburgh, though, that was almost an upset. The biggest upset, though, I think last week was Florida defeating Utah, so that was pretty much the only upset I think happened pretty much from last week. So the upset alert was pretty quiet last week. I think this week could be wide open a little bit, have some big games on the schedule, and it was really hard to come up with, some games here to, predict for the upset alert. But I think these are probably the best games I could come up with. And if I missed any upset alert games that are potential upsets, let me know down in the comments below. Let's go right into it here. Let's get right into it here with the upset alert here for week number 2. We start with the games that are most likely not to be an upset, and that first game is Appalachian State and Texas A&M. Texas A&M ranked number 6 in the AP poll. If you saw my AP Top 25 video yesterday, I gave you my honest thoughts about the Top 25 poll, and Texas A&M still remains at number 6, but this is not going to be an easy game. I would consider this one to probably be an upset, but let's say if it was on the road at Appalachian State, I would consider it to be an upset alert type game, but it's not. This game, though, against Appalachian State won't be that easy. You look at last week's game between Appalachian State and North Carolina, that game ended up being that close. And when we do these upset alert type videos, I only do top 25 teams. I don't do unranked teams. I just do the top 25 teams that are playing an unranked team or another top 25 team. So that's how it works for my upset alert videos. This game's at 3:30 p.m. on September 10th, this Saturday on ESPN2. Texas A&M is an 18-point favorite, 52.5. The over and under is there at 52.5. I gotta tell you, I think that's kind of lesser than that. I kind of disagree with the number there. Texas A&M ended up not being that, really good in their first game a little bit, but I think they still have a long way to go for that young team. I think this young team has a lot of talent on that side of the ball, on both sides of the ball. They will be pretty good, when it comes to the middle of October perhaps, but we're still early in the year. Appalachian State has a chance. I think they have a chance to beat Texas A&M in this game, even though it's a home game for Texas A&M. Yes, I'm going to pick Texas A&M to win this game, but gotta tell you, it won't be an easy game. I mean, Appalachian State was really close to beating North Carolina last week. Don't sleep on that Mountaineers team. Let's go to the second game now, and that is Washington State and Wisconsin. Wisconsin ranked number 19 in the AP poll coming into this week. This game's at 3:30 p.m. this Saturday. This will be on Fox. A big game here between a Pac-12 team and a Big Ten team. Wisconsin coming off a win, Washington State coming off a win. I think both of these teams are pretty even on defense. I think offensively, though, Wisconsin just has the advantage. Washington State's offense is pretty young. Let's be honest, they have a young offense. And defensively, I think they're good on that side of the ball. I think this will be a defensive battle. I think this game is similar, to the, games that happened last week, like the Georgia and Oregon game. No, not the Georgia and Oregon game. Perhaps the, Notre Dame versus Ohio State game from last week. Let's be honest, I think this game will be a lot closer than expecting. And you see Wisconsin is a 17-point favorite, and the over and under is at 49. So I think they are calling this one a 50-50 game. I would call it a 50-50 game, but I think Wisconsin is just favored by a touchdown. Washington State, I think with that offense that they have, it's going to be pretty difficult to score on this Wisconsin defense. But we'll see what happens. That game is at 3:30 on Fox in Wisconsin, so stay tuned for that game. That could be a good one. You never know. Let's go to the third game now, and it's Arizona State versus Oklahoma State. 11th ranked Oklahoma State. This game is at 7:30 p.m. this Saturday. It's going to be on ESPN2. And you see Oklahoma State is only an 11-point favorite, and the over and under is at 57.5. So This game right here, I'm seeing it really closer than expecting. I think it will be an upset alert type game. If it was a single digit, for Oklahoma State winning it, I would consider this one to be an upset alert type game. I'm telling you, you don't want to sleep on this Arizona State team. I think they're going to be really good. I think they'll compete in this game as well against Oklahoma State. And what we saw with Oklahoma State, the defense last week, look, I know it's already week 2, but it's still a long way to go before we figure out what these teams are like. And Oklahoma State's defense kind of struggled last week. Let's be honest, they really struggled. I think that secondary is the concern going into this game as well for Oklahoma State. For Arizona State, if they can score some points, they will be good enough to beat this team. But this game right here, really close one. I'm going to go with Arizona State. I think they will pull off an upset here. Like I said, if you saw my prediction videos, I did predict Arizona State to win, but I'm not saying it's going to happen. I just think it's going to happen. So this game at 7:30 p.m. this Saturday. Stay tuned for that one. It is on ESPN2. Let's go to the last game now that is most likely not to be an upset, and that is Alabama and Texas here. This is kind of a rematch from the national championship, I think. I think these two teams haven't played each other in a long time, but I'm just not seeing Texas pulling off an upset. Let's be honest, I don't really see them beating Alabama in this game. I think it will be kind of good in the first half, but the second half, Alabama will just pull away. This game is at noon as well, which is really surprising, and College Game Day is here this Saturday as well, so it's going to be in Austin, Texas, and yes, home field advantage does go to Texas, but if you look at the line, Alabama is a 20-point favorite, and then the over and under is at 64.5, so they're about a touchdown favorite in this game. I think they would be kind of, a touchdown game. If they were at home, I think they would be a couple touchdown favorite, but if they're on the road, it is a touchdown game. I think this one kind of should have been like a 17-point favorite for Alabama. But what I saw with Alabama's offense last week, I gotta tell you, it's going to be a dangerous offense to watch. I know it's week 1, but we just don't really know about the offense until Alabama plays this Saturday against Texas. And what I saw with Texas last week, they look pretty impressive. But I don't think they are good enough to, beat Alabama this Saturday in this game. And like I said, it is on Fox at 12 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. Going to be a really good game in the first half, perhaps second half. Alabama, I think, will pull away. All right, let's go to the games now that are most likely to be an upset. And we start with this one, Tennessee and Pittsburgh. Both teams are ranked in the top 25. Tennessee was ranked number 24. Pittsburgh still at number 17. And Pittsburgh was in my upset alert video last week. This is the second straight week they're in the upset alert category that are most likely to be upsets as well. And like I said, West Virginia, I think, is a decent team, and that's what happened for Pittsburgh. They had to come from behind to really get this win, and, they had a pick 6 there to take the lead. I'm telling you what, this game right here, I think it is the game of the weekend, perhaps. These are two great offensive teams. Defensively, I think Pittsburgh has the advantage in that category, but defensively for Tennessee, the thing that concerns me about Tennessee's defense is the secondary. I think Tennessee's defense will be really good in this game, but it's just the secondary. Can they stop the passing game of Pittsburgh? And if they can somehow pull it off on the road, this will be a good start for Tennessee's season. You look at the game, it is on ABC at 3:30 p.m. I kind of expected this one to be a noon game, but 3:30 p.m. is how it came out. And Tennessee is a 6-point favorite in this game, a 6.5 favorite. And the over and under is at 65.5, which is really surprising to me. I thought it would be a 50-50 type game, and it is probably a 50-50 game for me if I was going to make these, upset alert videos. So I think Tennessee, with them, like I said in my prediction videos back then, I did predict Tennessee to win this game. And as you guys know, if you follow this channel, I am a Tennessee fan. So it's not why I picked Tennessee because I'm a Tennessee fan. It's just because I think Tennessee has a better offense than Pittsburgh. Let's go to the second game that is most likely to be an upset alert type game, and that is South Carolina and Arkansas. Arkansas ranked number 16. They move up 3 spots after beating Cincinnati. And I gotta say, with Arkansas last week, they looked pretty sloppy, but, Arkansas, I think, is going to get better by the season goes. And then for South Carolina, they were kind of, trailing Georgia State last week, but I think they'll get better as well, and maybe potential a top 25 team. This game is at noon on ESPN. Going to be a good one here in Fayetteville. Arkansas is an 8-point favorite in this game. The over and under is at 53, so I can see this one being a 50-50 game. I think both coaches are pretty, good about their programs. I think both of these teams are pretty even. And like I said, I think South Carolina can pull it off an upset here. I think they can. I'm just not saying it's going to happen, but I think South Carolina can pull off an upset here on the road. Let's go to the third game now, and that is Baylor versus BYU. This is probably another big game of the weekend. This game is at 10:15 p.m. It's going to be a late night game on ESPN. BYU is a 3-point favorite, so about a field goal, and the over and under is at 53.5. So a 50-50 game here. I could see why BYU is the favorite going into this game. I think it's just because of the experience that they have, both sides coming back, and also Baylor, they're young on offense. The offensive line is young. I think defensively they'll hang around in this game, but I got to tell you, I'm going to go with BYU in this game if I was going to make a prediction on this game for this weekend, because I like BYU in this game. I just like the veteran team of this, team as well, and also the experience they have on both sides of the ball. So I'm going to pick BYU to win that one. Baylor, though, I think they will get close, and Baylor just ranked number 9 now in the top 10, so it's a good spot for them, but this could ruin their chances of making a jump into the top 10. And now let's go to the last game here that is most likely to be an upset, and that is USC on the road at Stanford. Number 10 USC playing Stanford here. This is probably the biggest Pac-12 game of the weekend here as well. So, and you look at these two teams, they're pretty even. Offensively, USC probably has the better offense, but the experience goes to Stanford. And you look at USC, though, they're a 9-point favorite in this game, and the over and under is at 67. I'm kind of shocked about that as well. I thought this would be a 50-50 game because Stanford has a lot of experience on both sides of the ball. And if you look at last year, Stanford was able to beat USC on the road, but USC could potentially beat Stanford on the road. I mean, both of these teams are pretty even. Let's be honest, they're both pretty even. This game's at 7:30 this Saturday on ABC, so it's going to be a good one here. Stanford does have home field advantage, and if I was going to predict this game, I would predict Stanford to upset USC in this game. I just think with the veteran experience they have for both sides, I think they're going to be that good on both sides of the ball. USC, though, we saw what they were last week. Offensively, they were really good. I mean, how good will they be in their first Pac-12 game? Let's be honest, how will they do in that first Pac-12 game? And those are my upset alerts there for week number 2. And, last week, there was just one upset, big-time upset that I put on the list. I mean, Kentucky and Florida could have been on this list, but I just had to go with other, teams in this one. And I think there's just bigger games in the Florida and Kentucky game. But don't get me wrong, Kentucky versus Florida this week is going to be a big one. So just stay tuned for that game. But that concludes my upset alert video for week number 2 of the 2022 college football season. And stay tuned here for more on Lucas Ross Sports.